Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome. If this is your first time, welcome back. Welcome to Bonms. I'm Ross. I'm going to jump right into it because I know you are very busy. You have so much to do. You're saving cats. You're walking grandmas across the street. You just got too much to do that you don't have a second to listen to this. But I wasn't talking to you. I was actually talking to the people behind you in the coffee shop. I know you came here for a reason and you want to get fired up. You want to hear about this. That's why you clicked on this. So welcome to Bonms. I want to jump right into it. If you read the title, you already know what we're going to talk about, and it might make you feel a little iffy. That might make you feel a little attacked. That might make you feel a little gaslit. That might even make you feel a little, what is the word? I don't know, coming at you. But I'm not, because it's very important. If you feel any type of conviction or any type of the slight tension based off when people say, hey, you need to check your attitude, man, then maybe you should. Because personally, speaking from personal experience, I can tell you, I had a bad attitude about certain things. I had a attitude of, I wouldn't say I know it all, but I would say I knew it all. But that's not the way to go about life. Doors will open. I mean, you won't even be able to keep doors shut. It's like when of a hurricane of opportunity. It's like a tornado of opportunity is always hitting your door. You ever tried to close the door when the wind was blowing and it almost even that's how it's gonna work for you. But you gotta have the right attitude. And I'm not just coming at you, I'm speaking to myself as well, because after this stream, I'm required and mandated to watch it, and I have to I feel like you're coming at me, but I'm coming at myself. But that's what it's about. We have to be honest with ourselves, and we have always have to realize, understand, and remember that we all have room for improvement. And the best thing that can open up all doors for you is that attitude. What do you have? What do you need to have? They're like, okay, Ross, you've been rambling on for 2 minutes now. You're running out of time. What do I need to fix my attitude on? You need to fix your attitude towards everything. But let me give you a few examples. You should fix your attitude on how you view yourself. You should fix your attitude about opportunities. You should fix your attitude about your job. You should fix your attitude towards relationships, past relationships, even parents. That's what you should fix your attitude on. Well, I don't have an attitude. If you have to defend it, you might have an attitude towards it. But that's a good thing, because if you have any attitude towards it at all, there's room for improvement. Because if you're nonchalant, you don't care, you kind of wash your hands with it, it doesn't bother me, you don't have any emotion towards it. But we have to have certain emotion towards certain things that shows that you care. But let's just tweak a few little things called the attitude, and bam, opportunities will present themselves. Let me give an example. I don't want to get into any personal situations, so we'll talk about your job, or we'll talk about the job that you want. Let's say you've been working for this particular company or this job, or you're interested in applying, or whatever the case may be. This is all hypothetical, just so we don't get into too much personal, like the parents, the finances, relationships, the kids, all those types of things, right? Because sometimes we can get a wrong attitude about it, but we'll stick solely on hypotheticals such as a career. Got it. Cool. All right. So let's say that you're working on this particular job. You're doing all these things. You're going above and beyond all expectations so that you can get that promotion. How about you just do all and above, not for a promotion? You do it because not only because it's right for you to do it, not because you're getting paid for it. You treat this job like the one that you are getting down on your knees and praying for. That's how you treat this job. I don't care if you're the janitor. You be the best janitor, because there's nothing wrong with the custodians. Because quite frankly, if we don't have building engineers, imagine how, as a matter of fact, I was a janitor. I was a janitor at a gym. That's why I brought up janitor. And you know what? I had a CEO of FedEx at the time come to me and ask me, excuse me, young man. I'm like, uh-oh, what did I do? And at the time, I didn't know who it was. And she said, I see you every morning. And I worked overnight. I see you every morning. You always working so hard. You're always doing something. And I was like, yeah, thank you. Thank you. And her sister, which was the more talkative, the silly one, this one was a little bit more stern and hello, how are you doing? And about her business. But the sister, which was the guest, you know how the memberships are. You can bring one guest of 1+1. But anyway, she was the guest. And she was a lot more talkative. Hey, how you doing? Ha, blase, blase. A lot more talkative than the one with that I later found out was the CEO. And they're on the treadmill one day, and she stopped me. She said, hey, I've been watching you for a while, and you always are working. You're always doing something. You're always tending to people. You're always doing everything. Because I was the only one at the gym overnight, graveyard shift. It doesn't require a lot of people. But anyway, and my response was, it's the key. This was the key. My response was, well, ma'am, I'm treating this job like the one I'm praying for, the one I'm seeking. And she was mind blown. She said that's the best answer I've ever heard. And she was blown away. And, we talked furthermore. And her sister casually, jokingly said, well, oh, yeah, I guess that was a good answer because, you never know who you're talking to. You could be talking to a CEO. And later on, I found out that she was a CEO of FedEx at the time. And I was blown away that you never know who's watching you. You never know. And what opportunities come from that because they see how hard you working or how consistent and how devoted you are and how charismatic and polite and kind and professional you are at this entry level job. They're like, I have a position for you. I know you'll excel for something that I know is worth your time. I know it's worth your while. I know it's worth financially. It can set you up for life. So I said that to say the right attitude. The right attitude will, man, it will blow your mind. And the same is applicable, like I mentioned, relationships. If you're married with your spouse, the right attitude. It's a right attitude eventually is contagious. It might not seem that way in the beginning, especially if there are some issues that have taken place within the duration of their relationship, but just keep having that right attitude. Even though it might appear to be falling on deaf ears and people that don't want to see it because they're holding a vendetta or some type of gripe with you or some type of grudge, and they can't let it go, just keep having that right attitude. You keep on doing what you know what is right. Because at one point in time, when you two got into that relationship, there was love. So you just go back to that. As difficult as it might sound, as hard as it might sound, you just have the right attitude. The same is applicable in business partnerships. That you might find out that this person was doing something they shouldn't have been doing with the books. And you're like, man, I'm upset. Have the right attitude. Try your best. And we're all human. We're all going to get frustrated. But I'm talking about the long once you can have your time of frustration. You can have your time of irritation. You can have your time of anger, but don't let it become consecutive. Don't let it become consistent because you have to bounce back to who you're supposed to be. And over here at Bonms, we're supposed to be thinking at a higher state. We need to bring people up. We don't need to go down to certain levels. So eventually you're supposed to be able to bounce back and have the right attitude. So, right attitude. Have the right attitude towards finances. Having the right attitude towards the universe will open up to you. Opportunities will pour into you because you're a magnet. You're attractive. We always think about physical attraction. How about mental attraction? We always can say, oh man, that girl is fine. Oh man, that guy is hot. Oh, that girl is a fox. But what about the mind? We have to be mentally attractive. And we are lacking in that area. We have to be emotionally attractive, where people feel like they can depend on you, they can rely on you, all because you have a right attitude. You have a certain glow about you when your attitude is right. And opportunities will pour. And don't have a poor attitude. Poor. And if you don't have a poor attitude, pour, opportunities will pour into you, onto you, and you'll just be slipping and sliding through life because the opportunities are just so slippery. You just sliding through it. Life is a breeze. You just have this flow about you. It's because you have the right attitude. The power of the right attitude, it creates some type of flow. Not a careless, I don't care. No, because that's false. That's fictitious. You do care. By you responding, I don't care. Doesn't bother me. No, it's okay to care for a moment. It's okay to it to bother you, frustrate you. But when you have that, I don't care, you can't bury it because it'll come out later on. And what will happen is it will affect you internally. You know how you can have chronic issues health wise? You can have chronic stress. You can have chronic things. You want to have, you don't want to have chronic bad attitude, if that makes sense. You want to, because the reality of it is you'll have a bad attitude and you don't even know why. You wake up in the morning, oh, it's like you just woke up. You just woke up. How is your attitude all because you have a chronic bad attitude? You just chronic. You just angry. You look at the mirror. You look at your plate of food. You look at everything. Just you have a chronic bad attitude, and there are some people like that. But if you have a right attitude, don't let anyone else dictate your attitude because you just have certain people that have that, but you don't be that type of person. Especially if you're over here with the Bonms community, we don't do that. It's okay to have momentary lapse as far as frustration, irritation. That's perfectly fine. It's perfectly normal. As a matter of fact, I'm actually advocating for you to allow that emotion to come and go. It's like it's kind of like the teapot, or when you're boiling water for your tea, the tea kettle, and it's just screaming on that aisle because the pressure is ready to burst, and it's going to do it until either the water evaporates or your head explodes because it's so loud and annoying. Until you alleviate, you release that pressure. And that's what having the right attitude, or that's what allowing that steam to build up in you. It's fine. It's a normal thing. We're human. However, you gotta open that lid and let it come out. It's all right to have those emotions temporarily, but you cannot allow it to scream within you internally. And then that's how you can have eventually, if not addressed or released or let go, because you've been burying it so long, you can begin to have a chronic bad attitude. No, we want to have a right attitude. We want to have the right attitude. We want to have a positive perspective. We want to manifest great opportunities, and all those things are, if you just ask the question, that's having the right attitude. How so? It's not, what am I going to do about these bills? No, that's the wrong attitude. First and foremost, you created a lot of bills. Some are out of our hand. But if you create a lot of bills, sometimes we got to take responsibility. But for example, bills. How am I going to pay these bills? No, that's asking a question that you really don't have the answer to. But if you ask, how can I afford these bills? What do I have to do? It begins to open up opportunities for you because now you're manifesting things because you took it at a different approach by having a right attitude. And it's hard, especially when you send these bills. It's hard to have a right attitude with bills. But one thing I will address, try not to have so many bills. That's the thing. Always assets over liabilities. But that's for another date, another topic. Remember the right attitude. I just want to come here and inspire you, to tell you that you are on the right page. You are doing the right thing at the right time in the right season. The only thing that might be missing is the right attitude towards this temporary situation that you might be dealing with. Everyone deals with things. Don't take it personal. Take a step back, breathe, breathe, and address it. And guess what? With that right attitude, everything will be all right. As always, it was a pleasure. This is Bonms. I'm Ross, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Enjoy the rest of your day.